Hello, good evening, and welcome to Delight and Fright with your host, Luna, to my side, and Kat. Today, we are discussing a very awesome film, Gothic Slayers. And with us, we have the very talented Caleb Harris, which directed and directed and produced the film. And we have Ben Getz, the actor and author of the film, and also his co-star Dylan Eshbaugh. Did I say that right? Eshbaugh? No, Espo?
Eshbaugh.
Eshbaugh.
But I've
Eshbaugh.
heard every different version under the sun.
And Dylan co-wrote the film too.
That also co-wrote the film and acted in. So we're very happy to have you gentlemen with us today.
Thank you so much.
Yay! Yeah. Thank you so much for joining this evening.
So before we get into the film, Gothic Slayers, I have our Delight and Fright totals for us. So we have 6 breasts. Sure, they're male breasts, yet we appreciate them all the same here at Delight and Fright. We have 2 instances of narrowly avoided demonic orb swallowing, 2 bromances, 1 hit list, 4 kidnappings, 2 convenience store musical montages, 3 transactions totaling $3 and change, paid for with the exact same amounts. Kind of weird, but okay, we're with it. 1 haunted squirrel statue, 1 lucky ball sack retrieval, 1 vile pair of not so whitey tidies, a crossbow to the ass, a double titty twister, 1 bitch slap knockout, 2 golf club assaults, 1 death by crossbow, and last but not least, 1 demonic cultist cheap jewelry suck off. Yeah, suck off. So we have gratuitous video game sound effects, gratuitous lame insults to an interdimensional demonic entity, gratuitous slow motion cool crew struts in which nothing significant happens. We have matching outfits, lots of those. And we want to nominate Academy Awards to Caleb Harris, director and producer, Ben Getz for his delightful, shaky fighting stances. I dug those. Those are great. And Dylan for saying things like, use your head meat. We like that. Appreciate that.
Yes. Woo! Lots of great things going on in this film.
Wow, thank you. What was your favorite of all of those?
So many. I like the ball sack retrieval was good, and the breast, yes, and the artsiness over some breasts too. We dig that. I dig.
We were really going for the male breast. That was kind of it. Very early in pre-production, we were like, how can we get more male breasts into this film? So we really
Totally
put our heads together for that. And a fun fact, actually, my breast actually subbed in for Dylan's breast because we had to do a close-up pickup at one point in the film. So I had to.
Oh, Dylan, your breasts weren't good enough, Dylan.
They weren't good enough.
for a close-up.
My skin was somehow paler than Caleb's, and there was a whole thing where we need to get at least somewhat of a tan going on in this scene.
That is so funny. Well, what is also very funny is the trailer. So let me go ahead and share it with you guys so you guys can see the awesomeness. Just 1 second. It's so funny. They changed I used StreamYard and they just changed everything around. It's like they're like, how can we mess with Luna tonight?
You got to turn your sound up, Luna.
Oop, sorry.
I'm still not hearing it, Luna.
You guys aren't hearing it?
No.
Ooh.
It was
That
a
is
silent
nice.
film. secretly. So
Oh, hang on. I can fix this.
Just put your mic up to your computer and be like, oh.
Oh, no. I see what happened. There's a tiny little toggle button that they added. If you'd like to share audio, toggle the tab.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Making
of course.
See that?
terrible.
Oh, there we go.
Are you guys okay? Sounds like this.
You ever wish your life had ended up differently?
Looks like you missed a few.
Oh, you suck. Big time. Be the ball. I'm getting closer. You couldn't part a whole of our lives depended on it.
What are you playing?
Gothic Slayers. It's this game where you go around killing these gothic freaks. Beware of the goth chicks.
You see that? Maybe we think we saw something we didn't really see. Right. Let's say what we think we saw. 1, 2, 3. A group of hooded figures recited a spell that made an old man float in the air, and then a little ball of light came out of his chest and was sucked into a necklace around a guy's neck, and then the old man vanished. Brain freeze. Out loud, it sounds cool, but it was real and very scary.
Wait, you guys witnessed a murder?
Yes! The Goth family from yesterday. They drove their van up, grabbed Dougie, and threw him in the back. Who are these people? I don't know, it's like a cult? A cult? You think so? Look it up. All I'm getting is horses. You typed cults. Oops. Save that.
Suit up. Press start. Head kick. Evil. We have one night. Save your friend and shut this cult down for good.
We made it.
Oh, dude, let's go.
Oh, check it out. Grass Angel.
It's time for you to die.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yay.
So much fun. I loved
much.
it. How about you, Luna?
I loved it. For me personally, what made this so endearing was there was one scene in particular where they were driving the golf cart and Ben had a moment where I'm like, oh my God, I'm Ben. He said, I can't relate to people. I forgot the exact quote, but he's like, I can't relate to people because everybody's doing so much better than me. And that is so relatable. I struggle with that to this day. I look around me, people have all this stuff, and you're like feeling like, oh my God, I'm drowning and I have nothing compared to that. So it was funny, but that one scene in particular made it so endearing, and it kind of made me feel closer to the character because I'm like, yeah, Ben, I freaking relate too,
yeah, I think that's one of my favorite scenes too, when Ben and Dylan are kind of having their first heart-to-heart kind of moment. And,
yes.
Kind of letting, trying to let his guard down to kind of tell his friend where he's at. And, I know when these boys came to me with the script and, we began like talking more about it creatively and stuff, we really wanted to try and make the story endearing in that way and honest by like having, these situations that we feel like a lot of people kind of go through in life. I know I certainly did. I didn't go to college. I just went right into the workforce, and I was watching a lot of people around me have all these great experiences and stuff. And you can't help but kind of feel trapped and stuck in your own kind of situation. And I really felt like a lot of people in life, even those people who went off to college, probably felt the same way, because we're always kind of looking at someone else's life and success and comparing it to ourselves. So, I know that was like really fun for, Ben and Dylan and I to like, once we were like working on the script and stuff, like finding these little moments and really kind of like trying to make it as connective as possible. So it wasn't just a slapstick comedy with a little bit of horror thrown in, but something kind of that leaves you with a little something that you can walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
There were
Yeah.
definitely so many endearing points with the characters, Caleb. And now that you mention about, seeing others, how they portray themselves and wanting to be like that, when you got older and you realized, like I did, they had the house, they have the car, they have the family, and then things start to fall apart, right? They're miserable, the kids are doing terrible, their husband's cheating on them, and you're just like, okay, maybe maybe I didn't choose so poorly.
There's a really fun line at the very beginning of the film that kind of like cues into that, and it's where Dylan's character is telling Ben, he's like, look at them, like someday they're gonna have some big successful careers, some beautiful families, but what are they gonna talk about? They're gonna talk about all these fun times they had with their friends, and so that, like, to me was my favorite part about their relationship, and it's great because Ben and Dylan are already such good friends that it made that, like, oh well, maybe not. I shouldn't speak for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of like giving that message of like, sometimes you don't have to be, super rich, super famous, or like have this like huge, life with all these complicated things. Sometimes you can just be with the people that you love and care about and have a good time with them, and that's the most important thing kind of in life. So that was like our subtext that we were kind of going for throughout the film.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's funny because I am the one that delivers that monologue about they're the unlucky ones or whatever. But it's not. It's funny because I feel like I relate more to what Ben's feeling in that scene in real life than what I'm saying in that scene. So in a weird way, it was kind of helpful and like for myself, and obviously Ben and I don't actually work at like a mini golf course or anything like that, but it does relate, I would say, to like, choosing to pursue acting and writing and filmmaking. It's easy to look at what other people have that went down a more normal route and, compare the two. So even though we don't have the lives that the people in the film do, it's still relatable.
And what I relate to is being super rich and famous, and
Yeah.
and it is as great as we make it sound. No, I mean, when we first started making the film, like, not the basis of it wasn't like comedy. It was like, can we write a film about these two guys that are kind of like stuck in their hometowns, and they're doing, one of them feels like they're doing a job they shouldn't really be doing, and everyone's succeeding around them and stuff. Honestly, because we were in that spot, we weren't living in our hometowns, but we felt that way in New York. We felt like, you see classmates and stuff go off and, get cast in these crazy films that you want to be in and things. And friends from back home too, that that are kind of all stuck in this spot. And I feel like it's shifted. Like, I feel like that people went through that in their 20s, and now they're going through that in their 30s. At least we are going through it in our 30s.
We are.
What do I want to do in my life? And, just reassessing everything. I don't know if it was a COVID situation. But that was the basis of the whole film. And then all the comedy just filled in around it. So it's great that you guys picked up on that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And at some point or another, we've all had like that dead end job where it just feels like, every day is the same, and it felt so monotonous. They would go to the ice cream store, get it at the end of the day, and then rinse and repeat. And I love the scene where the slushy scene was like, I'm so hungry, what are we gonna get? Slushies. Like, oh my God, get actual food, guys.
I don't know what you mean. That'll get me going for a while. I can survive off of a blue slushie.
It was so funny though, so relatable, especially, in your college days, your first job, and it just felt genuine and very human. I like the fact that you put humanity and human perspective into a comedy, and it was not just like fart jokes and arrows in the butt jokes, but also too you had depth and layers to this wonderful film.
Yeah, and I think like the vulnerability of like the characters is really what helps kind of like drive that home. Like I don't think any of us wanted to make characters that were like infallible, or like we really wanted everyone to kind of have their own personal kind of weakness or like struggle that they were all kind of coming to. Even like our antagonists, or who started as the antagonist and kind of became the protagonist, with Sam's character Chloe, having her have this like really big shift from feeling like she was kind of indoctrinated into this group to feel like she belonged, and then she gets to kind of witness what like a real friendship and a real family kind of looks like, and that helps her kind of break free from that mold. So it was cool being able to do that for pretty much every character, going through and being like, what is their like big shift, like how can we make this feel more real? And it's not just Ben and Dylan's story, but it's also kind of all these other characters also going through like a satisfying change.
And I loved how Ginny, how she evolved too. At first you kind of think she's just doesn't really care, and then you realize that there's more layers to her. And I always love characters like that. And I also want to mention to Ben and Dylan, as an actor, you may not have made it yet, but I mean, just to give you some hope, Patrick Stewart didn't start Star Trek till he was 47. He was 47 when he started Star Trek, and man,
that's more of a note for Dylan. That's good.
I look, if I've got a little note in my head when I hit 47, if I'm not getting calls from Lower Decks or whatever newest Star Trek is happening at that point, I'm gonna put some perspective into my life.
You're definitely more the Shatner character, I would say. No?
Yeah. Well, hey, he's still kicking and he's going to space.
No, but
so
he made it when he was young, so you're screwed. So yeah.
Well, I mean, you got plenty of options now. You got the James Gunn with the DC universe is going pretty well. We got the Marvel universe. We got Star Trek. Options. I think you both look great in an Imperial uniform. Hey.
Thank you. Hey.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Disney Plus. Where's Disney Plus?
I'll be the background red shirt that just dies.
Nice.
Nice.
So I have a burning question that's been burning in my brain. And I'm like, I cannot wait to have this conversation with you guys because I must know. All right. Spoiler alert, guys. If you haven't seen the film, my bad. But there is a scene at the very end. I won't go in too much into details. They're about to go on their date. Some stuff happens. They're like, what are we going to do? Ignore it and go on our date, right? But I'm kind of thinking, is there going to be a part 2? Can we please have a part 2? I need to know what's going on. That flashy stuff in the background. Like, you can't just dangle. It's like you're dangling like a little thing in front of us, and we need part 2 desperately.
We're waiting for like another one of my relatives to die and leave me a ton of money. It's basically what's happening.
That will fund it.
Now, on the other side, a lot of people could rent the film and then we would be good. But I'm really hoping for the former because there's a lot of relatives I have that are, it's like TikTok, Like,
well, let's hope that your next film isn't a documentary about you taking out your relatives.
Yeah, it could be that.
That's a good point.
If Kat and Luna, you want to do that, I think,
murder
we have
mysteries.
Publicly talked about this too much. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't.
We have.
I will say that what's nice is that people that like the movie typically ask if there's going to be a second one, and that alone is very complimentary. So, like, truly, thank you for even asking that question because we did put that in there as like it does dangle the idea of like, oh, something else could happen, but at the same time, I mean, all three of us have very similar sense of humor. But I think when Ben and I first described that. I think we just liked the idea of leaving it up to interpretation of like this town where things like this could just continue to happen. But it does make me feel very good that people that like the movie want that to mean that something else is coming. So
yes,
yeah.
yes. I was like, oh my god, did someone come back, or did it not work, or what's going on? And in my head, I'm also thinking that's also probably a creative way of saying, look at this chaos going on, la 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 la, like, because they're very airheaded. So
That
they're
was the
probably
way I
like,
interpreted it. They were just like, nope, somebody else's problem. We did our due diligence. No.
but deep inside my little blackened, shriveled heart, I'm like, Lord, please.
And I think it'd be really fun to like, be able to go back with these characters and like be able to tell like, a different type of story, with them, whether it's like they're a little bit older, it's like a new life challenge, but still having that like, very bizarre kind of world that they've been kind of thrust into. Those are like my favorite ways to do sequels, is to kind of like, hint at things that have happened before, but take like characters that are really strong and put them in kind of a new situation. So if there's anyone out there who's got a couple million, we're ready. We
Show
will
me the money.
Oh yeah. Well, people in the comments are saying absolutely we would watch it. So hey.
There you go.
Thank you, Mom.
Nice.
Gothic Slayers, Bogus Journey. Oh
yes, exactly.
Oh, that's a good title. Thank you for coming up with that one.
I just love the parents. I loved Ben's parents, Gary, Tom Moynihan, and Annie Gill as Elaine as the parents, because they reminded me of especially the mom reminded me of my mom. Like, she was just always saying inappropriate things. Like, she says, remember, foreplay is important. That just killed me. And then the dad with like, what was it? He's like, oh, it's not like your mom hasn't tried to, kill me a time or two. It's what they do,
And
they were so funny.
The thing that I was like, what the hell are you going to do with what? The thing was like, oh, using the frozen item with the hairdryer or something like that. I was like, what the hell? In my head, I'm thinking, am I that innocent that I don't know how this would be used? Or am I just...
We had a scene written out that it was kind of them at the end of the movie with these items. Like, it's kind of the mom is holding them in the doorway and the dad goes and runs out to grab the hairdryer, but we just didn't have time to film it. It was like one of my favorite scenes that got cut.
The day we filmed that like dinner table scene, because Ben and I are such huge narcissists, almost every scene is just Ben and me talking. But that was a scene where I got to kind of take more of a backseat and watch the parents talking with like the cult girls. And I think that was literally the first day that, at least me, I don't know about Ben, but I broke for the first time that day. That was days into shooting, but it was because I was almost watching it as like an audience member as opposed to like being in the scene. I remember Tom doing something and Ben and I looking at each other across the table, and we both broke at the exact same moment. I love that scene too. It's a very, very fun scene. I think that might be my favorite scene to like watch every time I watch it. There's so many dynamics happening at once. It's not just like focused on one thing. Both of the actors kill it in that scene.
Yeah, I think for Tom and Annie, it's a case study on how, like, in a supporting role or just like a day player, like as an actor, how you can really make those scenes like your own and like really bring into, because they're like the funniest part of that whole interaction. It's dad's face, it's mom's crazy things that she's saying, and we literally only had them for a day. Like, we were together in Maryland for 15 to 17 days shooting all this stuff, and they were just there for that one day. So all of that interaction, all that chemistry just had to be like found, that one day that we were getting introduced to each other. So it was really cool to watch all that happen. And also to give some props to all the actors as well. That was all shot at night too. So it was very late. We were very behind schedule. So it was like pitch black outside those curtains, and like 11 o'clock at night, and everyone's eating this cold chicken and mashed potatoes and drinking some blue drink. So it was really cool seeing all of them, like all that work.
Wow, you wouldn't even known, like the camera angles and everything was very well shot, that I would have never known that it was like 2 a.m. when that was going on.
It was really trippy. We left that day, and like walking outside was crazy because we have these, super powerful lights shining in, and you just think it's daytime. Like your body is so tricked to your mind, and you leave and it's pitch black out, and you're like, what is going on? What are we? It was so weird. Like every time we took a break, it was like, what? This is so. It was discombobulating.
I legitimately did not know that it had gotten dark out. Like because we were sitting at that table. Like I was not aware that the sun was going down until after we were done shooting that scene. And yeah, like literally, like we walked outside and it was complete pitch black. It was nuts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What was your guys' favorite thing to film?
That's a good question.
I really liked. I mean, it's so hard to say for sure, but we shot at quote unquote Jenny's house. It was our final day or final night of shooting in Maryland, and we had to get quite a bit shot at night. And I loved that location. I felt like there were some really cool things that happened in that scene where there are some reveals of characters and like who you think they might be and who they end up actually being. It had action where the first time the crossbow shoots me in the butt. I just felt like there was a lot happening that night. And I remember really, and that was also like 2.5 weeks or whatever into shooting. I felt like we were all in a really good rhythm at that point. We were all very simpatico with each other. And I don't know. I just remember that night being like, wow, this is like flowing very well, even though we had a lot to do. And also like there were cats around, and Caleb's allergic to cats. So we had to deal with like Benadryl and everything. But I just remember that was a very fun night of filming. So.
Oh.
I think my favorite sequence to shoot was like a lot of the action stuff that we did kind of at the end of the film in the church, like the stunt rigging, like the pulls that we did, the little like quasi lightsaber battle with like the golf clubs. It was really cool because we had like saved all of that like really big stuff for a week that we were going to shoot in LA. And so we were able to get like all these really cool stunt riggers to come out and to like do like that really big pull with Sam Piper and yank them back. The boys had a full choreographed fight with the clubs against the crossbow and stuff. So that stuff is always like really fun as a director to shoot, because it was much bigger and flashier than a lot of the stuff that we had been doing before that. So it was stressful. It was a very stressful day, but those shots are like some of my favorite sequences in the film.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what was my favorite, because I think I was just stressed the whole shoot. So I was like, what was my least stressful day? But I did love the golf cart stuff. Like anytime we had to drive around in a golf cart, because they had to rig up this golf cart. So, this rig is out a couple feet, and we're just driving these streets of Havre de Grace, which is this town I grew up in. And anywhere else, you'd have to have like, they'd have to shut down the streets, and cops would have to be like, escorting you. And we just kind of did it without asking permission, which was awesome, because you would be like passing cars. It would be like, what the fuck? And it just felt like you were like, that we were getting something that we weren't really allowed to get. So it seemed dangerous, and it was cool.
Yeah, because I mean, all those scenes were practical. practical. Like when Ben's driving, he's actually driving. And yeah, like that contraption he's talking about, it's like, 2 feet out on the side, 5 feet away from them, and there's cameras and lights that are in front of them. So a lot of times these boys are kind of like looking around the camera, like, as they're driving and stuff. But it was cool because it was a really cool perspective to like capture those long dialogue scenes with the boys talking, actually having the go-kart move. We didn't do it on an LED screen, or we didn't try and like green screen it or anything like that. Like doing it practically really added, a lot of realism to the scene, which was cool.
I like that. We have a comment from one of our viewers that is asking, how did they do the 8-bit stuff? That was cool.
So that, I think, is like my favorite part of the film, just overall. And
Thanks, Caleb.
Over any of the actors or fellow producers.
He had full control over it. That's why.
Yeah, they couldn't tell me no. That it's funny because I'm going to give away some of the secret sauce here, but we didn't actually, the script, when it was written and we went into production, none of those sequences were actually planned for. We had fully intended to shoot all of this live action, but as what normally happens on any production, things come up, things delay, things, you don't get all the shots that you need. And we kind of got into the situation where we weren't able to get all of these sequences done. And we were kind of backed into a corner of like, how can we creatively find a way to get around not having some of these scenes captured? Like one day we got rained on out in the cornfield, and there was just like no way that we could use any of that footage. So we had come up with this idea after we had shot pretty much the first 3.5 weeks in Maryland, about integrating, like, since the boys use this video game as kind of like their worldview on like how they're interpreting what's happening, using that same 8-bit animation from these classic arcade games and putting it into the actual film. And so like blending the worlds, going back and forth, was all something that we kind of had to make work kind of backwards. We're like, okay, we don't have this scene. Oh, we can't do that in the way that we wanted to. But I love that part of filmmaking because it made the film, in my mind, like so much better and just gave it this like really unique identity. And not running away from like those challenges and creatively finding a solution to make it work, leads to something really, really special. And so, yeah, we found a really great, animator who was able to like achieve this look that we were going for. And it took many, many moons for us to get all these sequences, because I think there's like 10 or 15 minutes total of animation. But yeah, it was cool. We did it very honestly. I'm a big video game fan. I used to spend my days at the arcade, so it was really cool. Being honest with like the art style and even the music. Like so much detail went into trying to replicate it, as honestly as possible. So yeah, and it was all one animator. One animator did the whole thing, which gave it that like really strong artistic style. But also it's incredible. The work that Ruan did for the film, like just really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
I love that part. It was great. So the crows, they wouldn't cuss at you guys, huh? So you just had to animate it. The situation, you were like, dang it.
We were really trying to get them mad at us. We did unethical things to get those crows pissed off, and it just wasn't working out.
Actually, the crows were great. If it hadn't rained, the rain ruined everything. Their crows said their lines on time, and it was great. It just rained. But,
and it was funny because a lot of those video game voices, we did an ADR. A lot of it is like my voice that I put into the film as we were like.
It's like all Caleb. Caleb is incredible at voiceover. Like, not even joking. It's unreal.
I love the game over, enter more quarters or we will all die. I actually love that.
Oh my God, yes.
That was Caleb too.
It was funny because like for the crows specifically, I was practicing my crow voice, and I'm like, if I was a crow, how would I tell someone to F off? And so I did a lot of my practicing in the shower. And so my wife would hear me from the other room talking to myself in the shower, emulating a crow, telling people to F you, and she would come in. She's like, "Is everything okay in there? Or do I need to be worried? Do I need to call a doctor?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just pretending to be a crow."
Oh God.
It was, yeah, the whole animation element was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And did you add in later the video game sound effects, or were those already in it beforehand?
So yeah, that was all sound designed. We had actually Dan's brother. Dan plays Cody in the film. His brother kind of specializes in that type of sound and music, you know, from like those, I think it's like 16 tone or 22 tone like music. He likes creating that stuff kind of for fun. So he created all this really authentic like sound effects for us to kind of integrate into the game, which was really cool. So yeah, we just had like, we really had a team of nerds for that section of the project, which was great. So yeah, we were able to just make it really feel like we weren't just, you know, doing a fan service, but we were actually like, you know, pouring, you know, real experiences into it.
Nice. And speaking of nerds, that reminds me of a burning question that I have. I mean, I love the part where they're creating their cloaks and their capes, but what self-respecting nerd does not own like a bunch of capes and come on. I mean, how many do you have in your closet, Luna? How many?
A few.
I think
that is definitely a missed moment there. Yeah, it's very true.
We're like sporty nerds, you know, like we've got the golf club stuff, you know, any sort of sports paraphernalia we have, but cloaks is
right.
You
Yeah.
know.
You had too many matching outfits together. You didn't have room to keep all your
like any sweater
not enough
vest
money.
we have.
I mean, not enough money after purchasing all those sweater vests, you know, not enough for cloaks. Totally.
And the Nerf guns, those are pricey, man.
Spent on Nerf guns.
Those are
exactly.
pricey.
The replacement bullets. Yes, exactly.
Who came up with the idea of the actual arcade? Because there was like the garlic, and I was just laughing so hard. If I walked into an arcade and I saw you got a slam freaking garlic and a steak, I'd die laughing. Who came up with that arcade idea?
I think that was Ben. I'm gonna give Ben.
Yeah. All the good ideas of this thing were and anything you hated was Dylan and Caleb.
It was all.
No, I think that one specifically.
That's why big kids pay the big bucks.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think just shit that kills me watching films is like the stuff that you know just wouldn't work. Like the whole idea that you would have this like that they somehow the whip of a garlic thing would translate to the thing. It's like that shit I always love to see in films. I'm like, how would that even work? And I'm like, oh, we have to do that. So when my dad, not Tom Moynihan, my actual dad, who's named Gary, was an architect, and he did all of our like sets for the most part, and he made the game. And when I like came to him, I was like, it needs to be an actual wooden stake and like a garlic rope. He was like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, you just do it.
I mean, it worked for Duck Hunt, right? You shoot a little gun and so I was actually thinking, because it gave me kind of 80s nostalgia, the actual arcade machine. So I figured there's some like at the end of the garlic, there was some stuff like they used in Duck Hunt where it would actually work, because I mean it worked back then.
Yeah, it was a functioning game. That was all real.
I will say that at the end of when we started having our animator, like that was a very strange experience of we never intended to even have animation. So when we realized we had to explain to the animator what we wanted the arcade game to look like, we did like kind of like we had to come up with a video game like after the fact. We'd already filmed us like doing it, and then we were like, okay, well then what is this game? And then when we saw it, realized, I was like, well, if the movie doesn't work out, maybe we have a future in creating arcade games. Like, this might be another.
I was just gonna say that you need to make a game. Like I would play that game on my phone. Like I would play it. I would just have a fun time.
It kind of gave me like side-scrolling, like Castlevania vibes. I loved it.
Yep.
That was the thing. Like I came up with the whole garlic whip and the steak, but like these guys knew their like video game stuff and Castlevania and stuff. Like I grew up playing like the sports games like FIFA and Madden, and I never played these games. But to hear these guys talk with the animator about to nerd out basically over this stuff was amazing. Like it was just a language that I didn't even know, and then they would come up and it would be like the thing you were imagining, but they just were able to talk and they all knew what they were talking about. And I'm just on the side, like, I don't
see
now,
now you know what it feels like when you're talking all your sports crap.
Exactly.
That's us. We're like, what? What the hell? I don't get it.
Madden? Who?
Right.
FIFAs?
Yeah.
What?
And I was the odd one out. Like because I wasn't a nerd, I was the odd one out. Like they were like, we don't want any of his.
We bullied him.
him for like, why don't you throw a soccer ball in there? And they were like, what? No.
What?
Yeah.
So, what was the most challenging scene that you've had to do? We talked about your favorite scene to do, but what was the most challenging?
Well, the first day, the cornfield.
Yeah.
Cornfield 100%. Because Caleb mentioned the rain. I mean,
so let me get this straight. Your first day of shooting was the cornfield?
All right,
you wanted to be sure your actors were going to stay, huh? You're like, if they'll put up with this and not be terrified that we're going to kill them.
That's not even.
Let's walk you
exactly
through
what it was like.
So we had most of our crew was in from California into sunny, beautiful California into Maryland in October that was getting cold and rainy. And my dad and I had cut out this bit of corn from this field that we were able to shoot in. First day, it's like raining, it's freezing. We really don't have an indoor area to keep the actors other than this kind of like barn. And it was miserable. And we got a truck stuck. Caleb had to stay with the truck that was stuck. Everyone was cold and miserable.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of that day, Caleb and I, which we didn't know at the time, we didn't tell each other this until after the shoot was done, but we both alone cried and at the end of that day and thought that the production was not going to go forward. But we somehow persevered. So that scene was awful. And what was crazy was that because it rained, we didn't get everything we needed. And we realized, we need some extra stuff. And our days were just jam packed. Like our weeks were packed with shoots. So over a weekend, the first weekend, we were like, okay, we're going to like sneak out. We'll go grab these shots. We drive to that cornfield and it had been mowed down. They had collected all of the corn because it was at the end of the season. And we were like, oh my God. And luckily there was another field probably 20 minutes away that had not been mowed down. And we're not going to say what field it is because we went in and we were like, should we ask permission? And we were like, no, let's just go in and film it. And we didn't cut down any corn, but it's just us running through the corn. Turns out we didn't even use that footage, but it was crazy to drive up to this field that we knew, and the set was gone. We were like, oh my God, we were screwed. But it ended up being okay.
Luckily, that scene is mostly just Ben and me, so we really only did it to ourselves. There was obviously the guy out in the field with us who we totally put through hell, making him do that. But I just remember like Caleb would run over between each take and just like give us a huge bear hug to warm us up. Because Ben and I would literally be huddling under one umbrella, like shivering. And then we would quickly like I will pat us on the back a little bit.
You didn't have matching umbrellas.
Watch that scene.
You should have had matching umbrellas and raincoats.
We didn't have the cloak budget, so I'm shocked that you can't tell that we're shivering. Like we were able to like turn it off once Caleb would say action, we would like lock in. But I just remember like I can't remember if Ben said it or I said it or we probably both said it at some point. I remember we were just like shivering and we were like, we did this to ourselves. Like we wrote that. We can't blame anyone but ourselves right now. Like this is fully on us.
Yeah, and I think too, like And that experience, and like what Ben mentioned with like both of us having this like breakdown at the end of the first day where we didn't think it was gonna, that the whole shoot was gonna pretty much shut down because of this like huge obstacle that we got hit with the very first day. I think with like filmmaking, and for any potential filmmakers out there who might be listening, it's really like, I think perseverance is really what like makes like your career happen, and like gets the project through to the finish line. Like not giving up even when it seems daunting, because it's always going to be overwhelming. There's always going to be some challenge that you can never predict, you can never plan for, that you're just going to have to find a way to make work. And I think about that day a lot, and I'm like, oh, what would have happened if we would have just given up? How like we never would have saw this project through to the end. And it was so much better after that. Like literally like a day or two later, it was so much better. The weather was great. We were getting really great stuff. And then the film ended up being something that like I'm super proud of and I'm very happy with. And so, I think about that day a lot, and just, never give up, no matter how hard it seems like it's going to be. Like sticking with it, is really going to lead to something really special and great.
We never would have met Kat and
I
Luna.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
I know.
And I love that. It seems like, you got to get through the cloud to get to the, the other side, the light,
For
or
sure.
this whatever, you know what I mean? And I think isn't that what made you guys need to have to put more of the game stuff in, because you couldn't get those shots?
It definitely added to it for sure. But it was also a bit we realized once we were gonna do this 8-bit pixel art, we thought back to that scene and we were like, oh, I bet we could like sub in pixel for a lot of that stuff. And then and it solved an issue that we weren't even thinking about at the time. We're like, oh, we can just do it there too. And then we started finding different places in the script that we were already kind of struggling with how we were going to make it happen.
Nice.
And it felt so obvious. Like once we did it, we were like, I can't believe it wasn't how it was always going to be. Like it doesn't seem like a made up plan once you watch it.
It started as a fix, and then once we realized, oh, it's actually a great storytelling technique, it became putting it into places that we weren't normally going to put it. And it was like, just the story is told better through that. So some places it's a fix, and other places it's like, oh, it just tells the story better than, and makes more sense that like our minds would see it as characters would see it in a video game situation. Like we're not ourselves right now. Like this is us, like Dylan may have really fallen through the roof, but like, was he really collecting coins at the top? Like it's probably just how his mind would work,
And did he slip on bird shit? I think he did. I think
100%.
We filmed that. Definitely happened.
We filmed that. We were like, it doesn't. He didn't sell it.
Yeah,
I love
I was
it.
too close to break my neck.
First day, since that first day was so terrible, it just made the rest of the days seem like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't it funny how
Truly.
life can be like that too? It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people, it's sad, really. Like they crumble over the littlest things, but then you realize that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. It's like us, we're like, it's like,
exactly.
Carry on. And they're just like broken in the corner crying, and you're like, what?
It really helps too, because it kind of like takes the fear away in the future. I know for like me as a filmmaker, like there's not a lot that I know that like we can't solve. Like if you have a good team with you, like you can figure out anything. You can work around anything. And so whereas before I might have been very worried or fearful or like scared about like a potential situation that might come up, now with all the productions that I've been doing since we started this project, is like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out. Like like, oh yeah, this is devastating and this is like earth shattering, but we'll figure it out. Like don't need to freak out. Like everything's fine.
Yeah.
You got
well
this.
said. Well said. So what do you guys have in the future? We talked about Gothic Slayers. We absolutely adored it. So what are you guys kind of working on right now that you're able to talk about?
Ben?
Nothing.
You
No.
unmuted, yeah.
Bid's
Well, we're
staring
gonna
at his
kill-
family members going.
I was gonna say we're gonna kill Ben's uncle next, and once that gets done,
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Thank you, Luna. Yes.
he's
Yeah.
on some
yeah.
bird shit. And
Yeah, you could learn some stuff here, Dylan. Okay. No, we have a lot of great ideas. We even have
we have a
even
lot
have
of great
some-
ideas.
I promise. We have a lot of ideas and a couple of scripts written as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, one is another horror comedy that God, I don't want to give too much away, but it's another kind of just
It's more horror. It's more horror than comedy.
It's more horror. So I think the one thing we took away from this experience was that I think we needed to lean a little bit more into horror. Like this film came out exactly how we wanted it. And I think something that happens with this film is that it falls between different genres. Like it's a comedy and it's slightly a horror, but it's mostly a comedy, and people can't define it, which is great because we didn't write it to be defined in a certain way, to fit into a box. But with that said, I think it brought up, after watching it, we were like, oh, what'd be really fun is to just go really into the horror scene, to like get the guts and the blood and the scares in there that we didn't really have with this. Not that we wanted it to be with this, but it made you realize like, oh, that would be a new fun direction to go in, to go deeper
this
there.
felt like Gothic Slayers felt a bit like a gateway drug into wanting us to write a little more like horror.
Darker.
So
yeah.
I will say,
for those people that don't like horror, let Gothic Slayers be the gateway drug for you.
Yes. Yes.
I will say that this idea came out of a time when the three of us were all hanging out, actually for Caleb's bachelor party. We were all hanging out, and while we were all together, we were like, "Oh, that would be a good idea for a movie." It honestly was kind of a eureka moment. So I would say it's the first thing that the three of us all together kind of have been like working on.
Basically, what Dylan's saying is that Caleb's bachelor party was super boring, and we were just like, "How do we think of movie ideas while we're here? And let's be productive."
Cancel on you,
or it was
not show up. Damn
it was like, how do we figure out how we can write this off as a business expense?
Exactly. I'm always grinding. Yeah.
I've put them in a hotel room across the lake, and I will never live it down. I'm so painful.
He did put us far away from him and everyone, his core group of friends. It was like, this is strange. But
well, it's because Ben plays sports video games. He was like, he's not gonna get along with my other friends. Gotta keep them separated.
You were the B team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, 100%.
Well, if you guys have any projects in the future, we'd definitely love to get murdered in it. We can. We're now accepting cameos.
We're always looking for people to murder, other than my own family members, allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah. On film, guys, not on real.
Yeah,
right.
Course.
Only on
That's
film.
right.
Only on film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy all the stuff that you're working on. Kind of segueing and wrapping things up. Next week, we are gonna be interviewing Jason Trost, and 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna discuss all of his latest works that he's been doing. So that'll be tons of fun. We can't wait for you guys to support Jason. And where can people find Gothic Slayers if they have not seen it? Where would you recommend?
We are on Apple TV, Google Play, Fandango, Cranked Up TV. It's our distribution company. And where else? Apple TV,
Amazon
Fandango,
Prime.
Amazon
Google Play.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I believe YouTube.
Yes. Please just do not torrent the film. Don't illegally download it. Taking $2 out of our pocket is not gonna, not gonna benefit you. Just give us a break.
Yeah.
The
it's lesser
haunted
quality.
squirrel will come and get you.
That's
The
right.
haunted
That's right.
squirrel.
That's
The
right.
haunted squirrel.
Don't mess with the haunted squirrel.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, guys, definitely support if you pay the whatever $2, $3, however much Amazon, Fandango, YouTube, Google, and Apple, however much they're charging. Just pay it, and then that way it ensures that Ben, Dylan, and Caleb can make more fucking amazing movies like we just discussed today. They're indie people. We need to support our indie people, please. I'm begging you. If
Y'all
there's
complain about not having new ideas. Well, this is how you get new ideas, and you're not going to get "I Know What You Did Last Summer" part 10. All right, so this is how that happens.
yeah.
Very true.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of Saw 15. Are they on Saw 20? I don't even know. I lost count. I'm tired of the same old story. Let's let Ben, Dylan, and Caleb write us something new, something refreshing, a new horror. So I'm excited, and I cannot wait to chat with you guys again in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Same.
Thank you
so
guys.
much.
So much fun. And
Thank
for
you,
our
guys.
Delight and Fright fans, don't forget that we're having a subscription drive for our What's in the Box special mystery box. Okay, it may or may not include Gwyneth Paltrow's head. We don't know. You got to win. You got to
Allegedly.
win to find out. Allegedly, yes, allegedly. It does have a bunch of horror items, Blu-rays, an autographed item from a celebrity of a horror franchise, and lots of other fun stuff. So we're going to do our drawing on August, our first show in August, which I believe is the first, right, Luna? August 1st, Wednesday?
Let me pull up my calendar. No, actually,
No.
the first Wednesday in August is August 6th.
Ah, the 6th, the day before me birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm a Leo. Rawr. So we'll do that then. And if you have your stuff set so we can't see that you subscribe, just leave us a comment so that we can add you in.
Yes, guys. Subscribe. It's free. And that ensures you get into the drawing. Dylan and Ben and Caleb, you guys are always welcome to subscribe also, and we'll throw you right in.
Or
See
subscribe.
I gotta see what's in that box. I'm hooked on the box, and I gotta find out.
What's in the box?
Dylan's a huge Gwyneth Paltrow fan.
I'm hoping
Just for the head, huh? Just the tip.
just for the head. Just the head.
Did you say just the tip? Yeah.
Oh no.
Kat said it. I just repeated it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we're
it's
just
true.
repeating.
Yeah.
She's the wild one out of the both of us.
We're just reporting.
She's crazy.
Well, thank you so much, guys. It's been
Thank you,
so
guys.
fun. And we look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you guys next time on Delight and Fright. Bye.
All right. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.